This is my main RuneScape account. After 2 years of playing RuneScape properly, I decided it was time to take my account and coins to the duel arena. I discovered a highly illegal scamming ring and exposed it to my YouTube subscribers. The scammers asked me to take my video down, and I agreed as long as they put their profits towards a good cause. They refused to donate to charity and they threatened my life instead. And throughout all this, I was busy anti-scamming their friends. And I made a lot of money anti-scamming. And now, I'm rich!
Money talk.
Bob, we can't use all our budget on editing one sequence. That was way overkill. Ah gosh, I'm sorry, I just got carried away. Anyway, I've been using all that money to fund the progress of my account. I've been training farming, mining, doing master clue scrolls, even rune crafting. Imagine that. Gauntlet, prayer training, crafting, you name it. Basically, for the last 2 months, I've been minding my own business pretty well. So here I am innocently crafting dragon stones at the Grand Exchange, when all of a sudden Carlos3454 trades me 418 million GP. This got my attention, but I'll get into that right after the sponsor of today's video. You may already know that ExpressVPN lets you reroute your connection to a server in another country, making it look like you're connected to the internet from that country. But did you also know that they're the #1 rated VPN service in the world? Look at those speeds! Harry Potter is one of my favorite film series ever, so when someone recently told me that although I can't watch Harry Potter on Netflix from the US, all I have to do is log into ExpressVPN, connect to Canada, and I can stream Harry Potter immediately. This is huge and is available for other TV shows and movies as well. It's also super important to hide your IP address from snooping ad companies and hackers to maintain anonymity online. I mask my IP address with this all the time and I highly recommend you do as well. You can try it out and get 3 extra months for free at expressvpn.com/KempQ. And thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. So do you remember that group of lurers that tried to lure me for my scythe and bandos? After trying to manipulate me for 30 minutes, I was able to anti-PK their friend, and I got a beautiful 56 mil out of it. Afterwards, I created a completely new account, and I'll explain to you why. Now these guys spend their lives trying to socially engineer people to take their money. This has been against the rules for a long time, and it's a bannable offense. So I created this new account with the intention to add every single one of these lures to my friends list, so that I could track them even if they changed their RuneScape names. No matter what, I'll always have access to their RSM. I sent a message to someone on the anti-cheating team, and I'm happy to report that 2 of the accounts that tried to lure me got permanently banned. Unfortunately, one of them didn't, and I'm still following up about that one. But that is still 2 lure accounts out the game. But now that I've updated you on those lures, let's get back to Carlos, the guy that showed me 418 mil. So he trades me a Varrock teleport tablet. I accept it and I'm gonna go see what he's up to. For a second I thought I would be going to Varrock Square, which is where he wants me to go. But then I remembered I've done the Varrock Medium Diary, and I get teleported to the Grand Exchange instead. So by the time that I'm at Varrock Square, he's already gone, and he's moved on to his next victim. And here I was thinking I have a short attention span. Carlos was successfully getting KT slays to follow him, but it only took me being there for a few seconds to realize that Carlos doesn't want to deal with me as well. He only wants KT slays. Take note of how quickly he says follow and then hop my world too busy here. I'm pretty sure that's an auto typer and he just clicked a button to type that. He probably spends his entire day trying to manipulate people and he gets tired of typing the same things over and over again, so he has some kind of program that does it for him. Now once Carlos logged out, Katie admitted to me that she thought I was a part of the lore. I assured her that wasn't the case and I went to go get my other account. What do you guys think is the fastest way to tell everybody that you're breaking the rules? When a player moderator logs in, you log out. And that's exactly what happened. Now that person probably doesn't care if that account gets banned. It's a pretty low level, so it's not worth that much. Oh, and there's no sentimental value to the account either, because all these lures, they just buy the accounts online. Like I've said in previous videos, these guys don't play the game at all. They don't care about any of the new updates or the players. They just want the players' money. But because the lure was cut short, I wasn't able to see the other parties involved in this lure. It would have been nice to get the other character names that were higher level and worth more to these guys. And that's where this next lure comes into play. When one of their victims has so much wealth, they bring in the entire team. No time for playing around anymore. This is time for the big guns. 5 people 3 maxed accounts, 1 PKer, and 1 primary talker, the social engineer. These lures are in no short supply, but never have I seen such a coordinated attempt. I wouldn't let their lure attempt go undocumented. Not this time. I was going to figure out what they were doing, how they were doing it, and who was involved. Once again, it started at the Grand Exchange, and phase 1 of the lure begins. Already, they're bringing in the second talker to tell me how to anti-lure these people, but in reality, his advice is malicious. He's part of the lure. So now we have the second person a part of this scheme accounted for. Lure number 1 is asking me if I'm familiar with the telegraph spell.
We use in-game friend. Good spell.
Now we've walked from the Grand Exchange to East Varrock. What have they achieved so far? In this first phase, they introduced their character Alejandro, who confirmed my suspicions that this is a lure, but he also told me it's possible to anti-lure these people. He'll continue to message me and try to convince me that I can get money from these lurers. We move on to phase 2, where we go to a different location, Camelot. I'm doing my absolute best to act like a noob, and so far I'm very surprised they don't recognize my RuneScape name. This is my main RuneScape account, and the fact that they don't suspect I'm anti-luring is very surprising to me. So now they're building on the information they've given me. The primary talker I'm following tells me that I'm gonna telegrab 100 million GP with the runes she gives me. An interesting thing about this lure is that we've gone all the way to Jazitso, which is secluded from all these spam bots that warn about luring. The primary talker tells me to hop to World 43, the high-risk PvP world.
You what?
I wouldn't believe it. There's no way they already foiled their lure by showing a PKer outside the bank. I was so disappointed. I thought they would completely give up on the lure because they already exposed their PKer and they would just go somewhere else and find another victim. But no, apparently this is part of their plan. Then the lurer tells me Sparkmac is his boss. And that was a little more surprising. But then just a few seconds later, the talker says,
You win all in game ooh, in quit, trade.
So which one is it? Is Sparkmac your boss, who tells you to do giveaways, or are you quitting RuneScape? Within the same 10 seconds, he just contradicts himself. But I think that's all part of the plan. This talker is trying to convince me that his brain is the size of a peanut, so I can easily manipulate him and take his money. Alejandro would approve. So they actually showed me quite a bit of money, 193 mil. So as they're walking me through the lure, I'm trying to think of ways that I can actually get that money instead of how they want me to think I can get that money. Then I'm asked to drink Zamorak brews, which reduce my hit points to basically nothing, making it very easy for someone to one-shot me. I wonder who it's gonna be. Fast forward a little bit, and now I'm asked to get my 20 best PBM items. Now this was the time I knew I had to make a move, but unfortunately I couldn't anti-lure like last time, because every time I ate a food, they made me drink more Zamorak brews, lowering my hit points again. Now this is really stupid. Don't actually listen to a word these people say. In fact, whenever someone messages you saying they're gonna do a giveaway or something, just log out. Don't follow them, don't do anything with them. I'm only doing this to document it and let everybody know about this lure. And seriously, I am big dumb for even thinking that I should pull out 1.8 bill out of my bank. But, like I said, just doing this for educational purposes, and I've had a good track record of not dying to these guys in the past. But just look at the audacity of this talker, saying including Tebow and others. He even asks me to take off my armor. Of course. Now they knew I was skeptical, so guess what happens? Another account logs in and says TY for 30 mil. So the talker and the PKer log out, and I'm given time with this other guy that apparently successfully anti-lured them. Now he tells me not to telegrab anything, and that they gave him 30 mil through a trade screen. He shows me I'm not able to telegrab the Zarishan hat from where I'm standing, which, yeah, I already knew that. It would drag me out into the PvP zone. But you'd think that all this time, the person that's been trying to lure me for the last hour would be sending me messages telling me to come to his world and get away from the guy that's foiling his plan. But I'm not receiving any messages, which means that the lurer wants me to hear this information. And all of a sudden, the talker logs back in. He asks me why I didn't hop for a second, but we all know he doesn't really care. And then he continues with the lure as if the guy that foiled his plan previously isn't there right now. And then he's still standing there the entire time. So we're in the trade screen again and I show all my gear. But apparently 1.32 bill isn't enough for this guy. He says bring all 1.55 bill please. and also to bring my cash stack, which I hadn't showed him before, but he knew I had it in a bank, so he just demanded that I bring it out as well. These guys take the cake for the worst kind of person, and while all this was happening, the PKer outside was in a danger zone. So I geared up my friend's account and went after him with teleblock. Unfortunately, I didn't get him. I thought he might not be paying attention or he wouldn't get Prey Melee up that quickly. These guys are really bad at PKing. The only thing they can really do is just click somebody with a Zamorak Godsword special attack. So when I attacked him, I was actually able to get 2 freezes on him because he was panic eating the entire time. The PKer logs back in, asks me if I knew who that was. I obviously say no, and I come back for another attempt. But this time they're prepared. Bringing in the 5th person into this lure, they bring in the account Lady to rag me off of the PKer. This is a completely maxed account with 2277 total and the RuneScape name Lady, which is worth like 6 billion GP on the black market. And this is the scary thing. Scammers and lurers like these guys, they get banned so rarely that they're willing to risk such high-level accounts with completely maxed stats because they know they won't get banned. They really went all out for this lure attempt because I was risking so much money. They called in the whole cavalry. I can only imagine one of them was screen sharing on a Discord call with the 4 others. But it took 5 people on the call to realize who I am. And once they finally realized that I'm the anti-luring guy, they straight up asked me if I'm KempQ, and I said yes. The cringiest part, they tried to continue with the lure. And I let them, because I wanted to see if I could get them somehow. Now that they know I'm KempQ and they've incriminated a super valuable account with a super valuable RuneScape name, Lady comes up to me and assures me that she wasn't a part of the coordinated lure attempt that just happened. Instead, she's just PKing randomly in Jatitso, but then randomly changes his story and says a friend told him to come, that there was someone in max gear for him to PK. Wait, so there's a guy in maxed gear that your friend tells you to PK, and you gear up in Black D'hide, Rune Crossbow, and Crystal Shield. Okay. And no KO weapon? Bruh. Oh, and also I found your YouTube channel where you have loads of luring videos. 20 bill lure video from 2016. Damn, you've been doing this for a long time. If there's any justice left in RuneScape, all of these accounts will be permanently banned. These guys are sick sadists who just want our money. They have no value in the community. And yes, once again, I'm adding all these guys to my friends list so I can track them if they change their RuneScape names. Anyway, stay safe out there, don't get lured, and hopefully these guys get banned.